Hello all. In today's lecture, we'll be solving few problems based on Karnaugh Map using SOP as well as in pivots method. Fine. Okay. We'll solve these two problems using K-Map today. Fine. This is what, based on the question, your first step has to be, you have to find out how many variables are there. How many variables are there? We have 4 variables. We'll be using 4 variable K-Map. You know how to write these numbers? For a 2 variable which is on the left, how many combinations are possible? We have 4 combinations. What are the combinations? 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 and 1, 0. We have given 1, 1 here and 1, 0 here. The reason for it, I have explained in my previous lecture. If you have not seen it, please refer to my previous lecture and see, you will be able to understand. The link of my previous lecture again, I'll give in the description box for easier navigation. Fine. Now, what is the next step? First step is to identify which variable map I have to take. So there are 4 variables here, so I have taken 4 variable mapping. Then write down the numbers, decimal number for each combination. How to write down these decimal numbers? I hope you are clear with it. If not, please refer to the previous lecture. Fine. Now, what is the second step? Positioning these minterms inside the K-map. Before that, you have to find out whether it is SOP or POS. How do you find out? You are based on what symbol is here. Here it is sigma. Sigma means it is SOP, sum of product. So if it is SOP, what you have to mention? You have to mention 1 for all these numbers in that corresponding boxes. Got it? For all the minterms, you have to mention them as 1. Now, for 0 and then 1, for 2, then 5, 8, in that corresponding box, you have to put a 1. Got it? Now, what is my next third step? It is mapping of the terms. How can I map? There are 4 ones here in the corner. All the 4 ones I can group together as a single quad. It is something like folding and making them as a group. Got it? The next group can be like this. I don't have any more quad here, so I'll be moving to the pair. So here is one pair and this again I can group it as another pair. Fine. So how many, is there any other one left? No. We have covered all the ones. Fine. Now the final step is writing the equation. How will you write the equation? Before that, tell me how many bubbles are there? We have 3 bubbles. So how many minterms will be having? You'll be having 3 minterms. Now let's start with the quad. So for the quad, which element is common here in the horizontal? First element is differing. So first element I cannot include. What is my second element? It is 0, 0 in both the case. 0 corresponds to B bar, right? So it is B bar. This is on the vertical. You have to check on the horizontal as well. So when you check on the horizontal, check for the first term. First term here it is 0, first term here it is 1. Both are differing. So I cannot include C. First term refers to C, second term refers to D, right? I'll be checking the second term now. Second term it is same. Here again it is 0, here again it is 0. The second term refers to D. Fine. In SOP, 0 is represented with a complement and 1 is represented with the actual variable. Here the second term is matching. Second term corresponds to D complement. Right. Fine. We have given the representation of one quad group alone. Now moving to the next group. This is one minterm. Let's take this particular bubble here. Which is common here on the vertical? First element is common. First element corresponds to A and the second element corresponds to B. Now check which is common. Only the first element is common, but it is in the complemented form, right? 0 meaning you have to mention it as a complemented form. So it is A bar. Understood? And for this, go to the horizontal part. Vertically, we have checked only the first element is matching, second element is not matching. So second element will ignore, we'll be considering only the common term. The common term is what? Only the first term. And first term is for A, but it is in complemented form. Since in SOP, 0 will be represented with complemented form and 1 will be represented in actual form. Here it is 0. So the variable corresponds to this is A, and since it is 0, we'll be representing it in complemented form. That's why I put A bar here. Clear? Now, vertically it is over. Now check on the horizontal as well. For these two ones inside this bubble, which is common here, these two elements are common. This element is common for this one as well as for this element, right? So both you have to take. Here the first element corresponds to C, second element corresponds to D. But here it is 0, so it will be represented as C bar, and the second element it is D. So I'll be including that here. Understood? Now, let's take this bubble. Fine. For this bubble, which is common in the vertical, it is A and B bar. A, B bar is common to this element as well as to this element inside this bubble. So we'll be taking this. It is A, B bar. And on the horizontal, when you check which is common here, first element is matching. Second element is differing, right? So what is the first element? First element corresponds to C. But here it is, since it is 0, it is in complemented form. So I'll be taking it as C bar. Why I didn't take D? Because here it is D bar, here it is D. It is in complemented form, right? That is the reason I am not taking D. Got it? How many minterms totally we have inside this? We have 1, which is a quad, and 2 pair. So altogether we have 3 bubbles. So for every bubble you will be having 1 minterm. Understood? How to write the equation for this? This is the simplified Boolean expression for the given function. This is how you will be simplifying. Clear? Now let's solve this again. How many variables are there? 4 variables. So how many variable mapping you'll be having? 4 variable mapping. What are the variables? It is U, V, W and Z. U, V, whatever variable is given to you in your question, you have to write only that particular variable. Fine. Here on my left hand side, I have 2 variables. So 2 variable meaning how many combinations I can have? 4 combinations. What are the combinations? 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. Fine. Here again on the horizontal, I have 4 combinations for this 2 variable. It is 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. Understood? Now give me the decimal numbers inside. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Fine. My first step I have completed. First step is identifying which variable map I have to choose. What is my second step? I have to position these numbers inside my Karnaugh map. Fine. Based on whether it is a SOP or whether it is a POS. Here sigma meaning it is SOP. If it is SOP, all these numbers I'll be positioning inside the Karnaugh map by mentioning 1. Fine. In the corresponding boxes. Here for 0 I'll be putting 1, for 1, 3 and then next element it is 4, next element it is 5, next element it is 6, then 7. Wherever this number is there, in that corresponding box you have to mention 1. Here for 9, where is 9? 9 is here, and then 10, 11, 13 and 15. Understood? Now, what is my third step? Second step is positioning the numbers inside the Karnaugh map. My third step is mapping. So, always you have to start with the maximum priority I told you. Which is the maximum priority for a 4 variable mapping? It is 16. 16 meaning if you have 1 in all the boxes. But do we have 1 in all the boxes here? No. We have got few vacant spaces left. So we cannot go for 16-digit mapping. What is the next step? Then now we have to go for the immediate previous mapping, which is octave mapping. See if we can do an octave here. Yes, I can do an octave here. Fine. Do I have any other octave combination? Octave meaning 8 digits, 8 consecutive ones. Either it can be vertical or either it can be horizontal, or you can do a folding as well. But check out whether we have another octave combination here. No. So there is only one octave that we have found here. Now the next previous priority is, it is quad. Quad meaning 4 terms. So check whether we can get a 4 element grouping here. Yes, we can get a 4 element grouping here. Is there any other way we can get a 4 element grouping? No. Fine. There's only one quad here. So what is the next prior to it? It is pair mapping. So you have to check whether I can do a pairing. Can I do a pairing? Yes, I can do a pairing of these two numbers. Oh, I have another quad. I can do a quad of these also. All the four numbers also I can take. Right? This again is a quad which we didn't notice. And then this is a pair. Got it? Now how many combinations I have? I have one octave. I've got two quad and one pair. Is there any one which is left here? One in the sense, is there any minterm which is left without grouping? No, we have grouped all the minterms. Fine. Now, you have to write the equation. How will you write the equation? F of u, v, w, z. Let's take the octave first. For octave, how will you write the equation? First, you have to check vertically and then you have to check horizontally as well for completing the expression for one minterm. Now, let's take vertically. While doing it vertically, just check if we have any common term here. Check on the first element. Here it is matching, but here it is not matching. How will you find a common term? It has to be common to all the elements that is present inside the bubble. Only then you can consider that as a common term. It is not like for two term it is common, with other two term it is not common. That case is not included. Common meaning it has to be common throughout. It has to be common to all the elements inside that bubble. Only then that particular variable can be taken as a common variable. Here, let's take the vertical now. For this octave bubble, which is common on the vertical side, you have to check every single element. Here, all the first element corresponds to U and all the second element corresponds to V. Got it? Now check for the common term here. Here it is 0. 0 meaning U bar. Here it is 0. Here it is 0. It is matching. But here it is 1. It is differing. So we cannot include U. Fine. Now let's move on with the V. Here it is 0. Here it is 1. Initially itself it's differing. So we cannot include. Meaning there is no common term on the vertical side. Got it? Now let's check on the horizontal. So which is common here? Check the first variable alone. Here it is differing. So I cannot include this. Check on the second term. Here it is 1. Here it is 1. It is common. Got it? What is the second term represents? Second variable represents Z. Since it is 1, I have given it as Z. First variable represents to W. Clear? Here, which is common? Only the Z. Second variable is common. So I'll be taking only Z. Because I didn't find anything common in the vertical and in horizontal, I found only one element which is common, which is Z. Got it? How to write the equation that is a minterm for a octave? Now, let's take the quad. Let's take this quad. Which is common here for this quad? For this one, again, this element is common. These two elements are common. For this one, again, these two elements are common. For this one, again, these two elements are common. And for this, again, these elements are common. What do you mean by that? This particular group is common to all the elements inside this particular bubble. Got it? So, what is this? First element refers to U bar. Second element refers to V. Why did I write U bar here? Because it is SOP and in SOP 0 is represented with complement, 1 is represented with the actual variable. Got it? In a similar way, can we write for this as well? It is UV and this is U and V bar. First element refers to U, second element refers to V. Based on whether it is 1 or 0, you will give the complement. Fine. Now, for this particular bubble, which element is common? U bar V. A minterm expression never gets completed without considering the horizontal part as well. We have written only the vertical part. Check on the horizontal as well. If there is any common term, include that common term. If you don't find any common term, then we can move on with the next bubble. Clear? Now, for this bubble, that is this particular quad, check which is the common term in the horizontal part. Let's write this as well. It is W bar Z bar. It is W bar. This is W. W and Z bar. Fine. Now, for this particular bubble, check which is common here. Here it is W bar. Here it is W bar common, but here it is changing to W. So this kind of first term cannot be included. Let's take the second element. Here it is Z bar. Here it is Z. Initially itself, the variable is changing. So we cannot include. Understood? Now, let's take this particular quad. Here for this particular quad, which is common here, first element is 0 and 0. It is common. Whereas the second element, it is 0 and 1. It is different. So second element we cannot consider. We can consider only the term, the variable which is common. Here only U bar is common. So U bar I'll be taking for this particular square. Now on the horizontal, which is common? W bar, W bar. W bar is common. Z when you include, here it is Z bar and here it is Z. It is differing, so I cannot include that. Got it? Altogether, how many bubbles we have here? Octave is one bubble, two quad. Both the quads we have written here, and then now a pair is left. We have to write the equation for a pair. For this particular pair, on the vertical, which is common, only this element, right? So it is u v bar. Now, vertically we have written, we have to consider the horizontal portion as well. So check horizontally, which is common, w, w. Only the first element is common. Second element, when you see, it is z and z bar. It is different, right? So we cannot include this. We have to include only the first element, which is w. And this is the final expression for the given Boolean function. Is it clear how to write the simplified Boolean expression based on the Karnaugh map? Fine. This is how you will be doing it for an SOP.